So hi everybody, I'm Charlotte. We kind of switched up the order. So I'm same as Jay, senior in the SFS, also an international politics major. And this early summer I had the good fortune to go to Uruguay. I can just echo what Shay said. I'm very thankful to the Berkley Center, to Rod Jacob, who started this project, who I was fortunate enough to meet afterwards, to all the professors and people at the Berkley Center who helped us throughout this project, because we definitely could not have done it on our own, and to the Catholic University in Uruguay that was my host and really gave me great opportunities for research. So my research project, I went to Montevideo, which is the capital of Uruguay, for 3 weeks, and my research was slightly unusual in the sense that I didn't have a structured research question when I went there. We basically had a contact in the Catholic University, and they said, yes, we're working on social justice. We want someone to come visit. We want to show you things. Just come. So I basically got on a plane and walked into the university right after landing and sat down with the head of the Department for Educational Policy and Management. And he gave me an itinerary for 3 weeks, and it was like 4 pages long. So he was like, here are all the things I want you to see. And that's basically how my research started. And so I realized that this very small university that was officially opened in 1984, and it's the only Catholic, the only Jesuit university in this very small country. Uruguay is 3 million people, so it's tiny. So, and this very small university actually is doing a lot of work in the field of social justice. So effectively, my question was, what is this university doing? And is it useful for us? And does it make sense to me coming from here? And so I saw 3 projects that I was introduced to that were all working on social justice in different ways. And there was the Quality Improvement Program, the Alegría Network, and the Social Justice and Education Network. And so I'm just going to give you a short overview of those 3 programs that were developed in the Catholic University. So the Quality Improvement Program was started in the university, I think, about 6 years ago. The university is Catholic and private, obviously, and the professors and students at the university noticed that in Uruguay there's a huge problem between educational coverage and quality. So every kid in Uruguay can go to school. Everyone gets an education. The question is, what kind of education do you get? And there's a huge divide between private and public. And so the university said, well, we have the resources. We have an idea of what a good education might need. So let's go to schools and let's offer them an improvement program. And so Mora Podestá, who is the director of this program, said, if a center decides to use this tool, it starts a process that involves the entire center. It's not simply applied from the outside. The system lets the school self-evaluate and lets them discover their strengths, weaknesses, and areas where they can improve. So basically, the university sends faculty and sends staff to elementary schools, high schools, even informal education centers that are like after-school programs, and helps those schools and centers look at themselves, evaluate what the center or the school thinks is quality in education, what they want to achieve, and where they think they're lacking and where they need to improve and how they can get there. So that's the first program I visited. The second one is the Alegría Network. So Alegría is actually a Jesuit school network that was founded in Venezuela in 1955 and is now in, I think, 17 countries in Latin America. So they have schools all throughout Latin America. And the idea of this network is to provide education to the poorest sectors of society. So provide education for those children that live outside of the city that can't get a good education. And in Uruguay, Alegría didn't start until 2009. Now that has to do with a lot of internal politics in Uruguay. Uruguay is very, very fiercely secular, and Catholic private education is struggling immensely to kind of find its place and establish itself. And so it took until 2009 that the Catholic University said, well, we're going to sponsor this. We're going to help this network find its place in Uruguay. And so the network actually is now, the network's headquarters in Uruguay are in the Catholic University. So the staff and the faculty in the university helped it establish itself. And different from other countries where Fe Alegría actually builds individual new schools, in Uruguay, they went to already existing schools and offered the schools to become members of the network and said, would you like to join us? We have this new approach to education. It's a little different, but we think we could work together. And so these are two of the schools, Don Bosco and San Adolfo, where I visited, both elementary schools that have joined the network. And the major benefits for the schools are, first of all, Fe Alegría is a huge network, and they can help fundraise, they can help finance, and many of these private schools are struggling immensely to keep their buildings in good conditions, to pay for books, very basic things. And so the network is kind of helping them establish that. And at the same time, it's giving the education a very distinct nature. It's not just private, it's not just separate, it's Catholic, it's Jesuit, and it's really focused on those children who are disadvantaged. And another effort the Fe Alegría network makes is that, yes, it is private education, so yes, you are, if you can, you're asked to contribute something to your education, but scholarships are available to anyone who needs them, and the focus is really on giving education to anyone who wants it. And the last project that the Catholic University started, or became a part of last year, is the Social Justice and Education Network. It was initially started in a partnership between the university in Madrid and a university in Chile. And basically, the network is a group of faculty in each university that said, social justice is a topic we need to address now. It's something that's up and coming, and people need to learn about it, and we need to formally address it in our university. And so the Catholic University in Uruguay, because it already has so many projects in this area, said, yes, we can contribute to this, and we'd like this formal framework to work in. And so the Social Justice Network is really an intent to gather resources, encourage research, help faculty exchange and go to different universities and work together. And there's actually, I think, 8 or 9 universities in Latin America that are working together with Spain on this issue. So after this very brief introduction to very many different things I saw in 3 weeks, I think the big takeaways were that I was just incredibly impressed what such a small university has done in so little time, because we go to a Jesuit university with tons of programs, but we were also founded a while ago, and this university was only opened in 1984, and they've already made a significant impact in Montevideo, in Uruguay as a whole, and now through this network are really starting to make an impact internationally. And so I came away with kind of a couple of ideas of what it really means to get a Jesuit education, and how a university can try and share that education with a city, with a country, and not just stay within its own borders. And I realized how similar many of the issues were this Uruguay was dealing with in terms of public education and private education, and the differences and how we can come together. And yeah, in the end, my hope was that the projects that I saw would continue. They're all still very young. They're currently working well, and so I hope that they're going to develop further and kind of continue strong. And finally, I hope that we can start more of a cooperation between our universities here in the U.S. and universities in South America, because I quite honestly wasn't aware of the extent to which our challenges and our projects that we're working on are similar. And so I think there's a lot to share, and there could be a lot of benefit from working together.